Alright. Oh. Hey, Ronster, how's it going?
Hold on. I got to make adjustments here. Let's see here.
Wonder why my model is like that. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I know what's up. There we go. Just had to turn off the other camera. Alright everyone, welcome. So, my friend Rainer is not here yet, so we're just basically gonna chill and just chat with each other. So, how's it going everyone? I have you on my phone making dinner. Okay, no problem. Thanks for joining us, Ronster. I wonder what you're eating. Welcome to the Second Monday podcast, guys. Also, welcome to the Uncle Talks live stream. I'm your host, Peter, and hopefully, Rainier will be on his way, because actually, like, every second Monday, sometimes we forget that it's second Monday, so sometimes, like, we basically just, sometimes we just don't know how to spitfire ideas for the podcast. And also, the thing of it is that I'm also recording the stream, so just in case if we have any internet outages, if we have too many of them during stream, basically the recorded version will be there. It's just that it will take much longer to upload, so that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, I forgot to check. I forgot to tune up my ad breaks, because we're gonna get an ad like at least 1 minute. Burger and fries, nice. It's cause it catches up to us, and then all of a sudden it's Monday. Yeah, that's true. But we're just like chilling. It's Monday. Monday is usually a great day. But of course, some people hate Mondays because it's usually the start of a new week. It's kind of funny because like in the U.S. we usually think of Sunday as the beginning of the week. But like all around the other parts of the world, Monday is usually the first day of the week, which is pretty ironic, actually. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Sunday should be the beginning of the week, or do you guys think it should be Monday? In my personal opinion, I think it's Monday, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people will have their own arguments on that. Maybe I should have made that the question of the day, huh? Okay, we're gonna get an ad like around 13 seconds, so all you guys that are not subscribed, apologies to you guys. Like, if you want to subscribe, you can do it if you want, but only if you want to. But yeah, like I would have to say that in general, I would have to say Mondays feel like it's always the beginning of the week for me. I mean, like, what do you guys think in chat? Do you think Mondays will be the start of your week, or do you think mainly it's always going to be like Sunday? Because I think some people believe Sundays are usually the beginning of the week. Like, actually, like today was a pretty decent day. Like, I learned some math from like one of my friends that is a graduate student. He taught me a lot, but at the same time, like, I have to like, I think research what he was discussing with me, so that way I can solidify the facts that he was trying to solidify in my head. So, and also he gave me some assignments to do during the week, so that way I can like keep up with his teachings. That's something to keep in mind for myself. But, he gave me some awesome notes, so I just am excited to like basically see if I can embark on this journey to basically like learn enough maths to basically do proofwriting and stuff. But of course, like, mathematical proofwriting usually is taught in university, not really in average like high schools. But I think like before I got on stream, I just started to watch an old school anime. Actually, I found on Crunchyroll. It was old school because I can tell by the animation style, but the date that they said on Crunchyroll is like, it came out in 2017. I'm like, no, it did not. I recognize this type of art style. This art style does not look like 2017. And then I had to look up the anime on like Google, and it's like, yep, I was right. It was like around 2004. Like, if you guys have watched anime as much as I have, you probably can tell by styles by the way you watch them. And it's like, wait, no, this style doesn't look like it's modern. It looks like it's something back in the day. But, you know, I love watching old school anime because, like, whenever I see that old animation style, it makes me feel as if, wow, like, you know, like, it just makes me feel nostalgic. Let's see here. But, yeah, like, I think, like, I just basically just messaged Rainer just in case if, he may have forgotten. Because, like, you know, like, we weren't really discussing the Second Monday podcast that much, so, like, you know, sometimes that happens. Okay, he will be on, like, around 10 to 15 minutes, so. But, you know, I would have to say that, like, I think, like, when I watch old school anime, yeah, it shows my age, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like that's basically, like, it just gives me a sense, like, oh, I didn't watch this when I was younger. I wonder how would I felt about it when if I watched it when it was, like, on the internet. Because, you know, back then, like, anime wasn't, there was no streaming services for anime at the time. So it was much harder to find, like, I guess anime that probably would have just aired in Japan, but, like, didn't have the, I guess, the licensing clout that it probably should have because of, how should I say? Like, probably, like, because, like, it wasn't as popular, and, like, you know, like, studios wouldn't pick it up because it's like, oh, it's like, it seems good, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like a very great show, you know, like, I think that's like, when it comes to old school anime, like, you had to make sure that it had, like, an internet following before you actually decide to release it in the States. Which is pretty interesting, because, like, nowadays, like, anime is, like, highly, like, how should I say? I don't want to say it's policed, but it's like, you know, obviously streaming services, they want to make sure that they get the proper licensing and all that stuff. It's kind of funny because Crunchyroll started out as, like, a site that basically was similar to the ones that basically would show anime without licensing. But then they evolved into an actual mainstream anime streaming service. So, but it's kind of funny because they're not available in Japan at all. But I guess, like, maybe, like, in Japan, like, they haven't caught up with streaming. That's why, they'd rather have their anime air on just regular television. Pretty old school, like, I think for, like, business and stuff. Because, like, I think Japanese, like, business etiquette is still, like, in the traditional sense. Because I think they do have Netflix and stuff. It's just that I think they just don't want to air that many new shows on streaming services because it's like, they feel as if, oh, we get all our money from, like, merchandising. Like, it's still the old school way of thinking. Like, you know, we get our money from, like, Blu-ray sales and, you know, figurines or, like, you know, maybe the books that the series is based off of. Everything from Japan is traditional. Yeah, I agree. They still use fax machines. I don't think that's really surprising, though. Actually, like, the thing of it is that, like, maybe using a fax machine is not too bad because it's like, you just basically send something off of the phone. And, you know, like, you can email and stuff, but what happens if you don't have a printer? You know? Like, basically a fax machine is just a convenient printer. Only it's just sent by the phone. You know? But, I don't even know if, like, people still use fax machines. Like, maybe, like, old school countries do. Maybe like countries that like probably haven't caught up with the time still use fax machines. Actually, it's kind of funny because like my dad is actually trying to look for a new printer because our old printer is like basically like it doesn't print things well anymore, and I think we encountered an error that basically we can't print stuff. So now he's like looking for a new printer, and like he kept coming to me and asking me, "Oh, is this where is this printer company from?" And like he asked me things like, "Where is where's what about the printing company brother? Is that American?" And I would have to look up for him, and he was like, "No, it's from Japan." And then basically like the two companies he asked me about are just from Japan. So he just basically is like he basically had that "oh god dang it" face on like expression on his face, because like every company that he would ask me about, they're all from Japan. And I was like, does America have like any companies that are printer companies? Like I ended up asking myself because the two companies he presented me with are like in Japan. Yeah, and I trust that. I wouldn't want American. No, it's just funny because like I think my dad is like basically struggling by the fact is like because of the tariffs and stuff, like I think he's like worried about like, you know, buying stuff that is like from a Japanese company, because I think like because we have a Canon printer, and I think for him he thinks that, oh, Canon is like, if I buy it from a Japanese company, it's probably going to be the same as like buying it from like Canon or something. But I don't know, like I don't really like know what goes through his head. Let's see here. Like, because the thing of it is that I don't even know what other printer companies are when you think about it. It's kind of funny because, like, you don't really start looking into companies until you start needing something from their services. Actually, I wonder why my dad hasn't, like, looked up on YouTube and basically looked for, like, the best printers for 2025. There's usually, like, a video about those type of stuff. But then again, like my dad doesn't know how to type words very well. He probably would need me to type it into YouTube for him. But he hasn't asked me, so I haven't done it. Honestly, I don't print that much, to be honest with you. Like, I think the reason why our printer's like not working well is because we don't really use it as much. I think my dad does because he usually prints like a lot of bills from it. But then again, like whenever we print stuff of it, like like basically all the words would be smeared and everything like that, and I'm like, yeah, we probably need a new one. Because my dad would do everything he can not to buy one, so he would try to like clean the cartridges and all that. Like he would basically have the printer clean its cartridges and do like a what do you call it, like those internal cleaning mechanisms or programs into it, and basically he would be like, okay, and then he would still print something and it would turn out still smeared, and I'm like, okay, but I ain't gonna tell him to buy a new one, because like the last thing my dad needs is someone telling him what to do. So, you know, he decides to buy a new one, he buys a new one on his own. So, you know how it is, That's the thing, like, with people. Some people are just very stubborn, and they just basically just want to do things their own way. And they won't do it until they decide to do it for themselves, So, who am I to get in the way of someone else, like, just trying to do stuff? That's why I don't push my dad to basically, like, do things. There are printers out there that you don't have to buy ink. Really? Like, yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because our printer is, like, very old. It's literally, the type of printer you just basically put the cartridge in. But how do you, like, the thing of it is that, like, oh, it's from brother? Oh, okay. Like, oh, hey, Rainier.
Good evening there, everyone.
So, guys, this is Rainier, my co-host. Unfortunately, John won't join us because his schedule changed. So he no longer has Mondays off. So it will just be me and Rainier today.
Yeah. Wong, 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 wong.
So hopefully you guys can hear him. If you guys can't hear him, let me know. Right, roster, poopy head, John poopy head. So yeah, we were actually just talking about printers, Rainier.
Printers.
Yes, yeah, because like my dad is looking for a new printer because ours is pretty old. Like I think ours is like probably like since maybe my last days of university. So it's pretty old. It's pretty old. So it's funny because my dad, right? He keeps coming to like my, like, I guess I call it my office because like literally it's just the computer room, but it's my office technically because I'm always in here. He would come in here and he would ask me like I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's I think it's Epspawn, like
Sun or something.
yeah, like the printer franchise, and he asked me, "Is that American?" And I was like, I had to look it up for him, and I'm like, no, it's from Japan. Epson, yeah, Epson, yeah, that one. And he asked me, "Is Epson like American?" And I was like, I'll check. And then I looked
Does
it
he
up.
prefer to buy American or what?
Yeah, he wants to buy an American one, I think. Like he wants to buy an American printer, and I'm like. And the two brands that he asked me about, he's like, is Brother American? And I had to look it up. It's like, no, it's from Japan. And he would give me that oh shit face. I don't know why, but I think he's just trying to buy something that avoids the tariffs or something like that. Or something like that. Or maybe he's just more of a Trump fanboy than I thought. I don't know. I don't know. Like, because I was like, why does it matter if it's Japanese or American? I don't get it. And I think it's because our old printer is a Canon printer, and I think he thinks that because it's a Japanese printer, we're gonna experience the same thing, like with another Japanese printer. I think that's his logic. What did you
Actually,
type?
well,
What'd you type, Ronster? You could have. I could have used that. Brother was Japanese. I'm thinking you're being. You could have told me that. I think that's what you meant, Ronster. They also had an event where I work. Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, because I remember you work at a banquet hall, right, Ronster? But how are you doing, Rainier?
I'm doing fine. This pretty good spring weather, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, forgive Rainier for being late because, like, usually when it's second Monday podcast, we always forget until the last minute. And then I'm like, oh, we don't have anything to talk about. But, you know,
It was more, I was trying to kick my family out because they're loud. And
Oh.
I'm like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I already told them, like, hey, you guys gotta be either quiet or be out of my place by 7.
Oh, dang. Why, were they over your place?
Yeah, they were over my place. We ate like a Chinese buffet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you were with family, you could have told me that you couldn't make it.
No. It's not that. It's they've been here because they got here at like 4 o'clock, and then we ate out. And it's not like I want them to stay the night anyway. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
That's fine. Let's see. Roster said the owners are Japanese and they try really hard to speak good English. Oh, okay. Well, at least they tried though, because like, I think like a majority of Japanese people are pretty too shy to speak English.
Yeah.
So you know, like at least they try to, because like you know, trying is usually important. You learn from more of your mistakes that way. Yeah, because it always reminds me of the time when I was speaking Japanese to like a couple of the students from like I think from Ritsubekan, and like I kept saying Masaka all the time, and then like and then one of the girls basically pointed out is like you're supposed to say moshikashite. It's like Masaka is usually used in like anime a lot, and I was like, oh okay. Like I didn't realize I was doing it until like she pointed it out, and I was like, oh yeah, I was probably saying that a lot. But like what have you been up to, Rainier?
Been like wrapping up my semester. I'm only taking one class, but I just took a final recently.
You're gonna have an associate's in computer science, right?
No, it's just a certificate after next semester.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I want to take it all the way to associates, because I mean, I'm just taking this for fun. It's not like I am going to like. It's like a backup, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Because I don't know if I'm doing like a career switch, especially in the environment right now.
Oh, okay. I see.
It's not so good.
I mean, as long as you're updating your skills, I think that's a plus. Because like I remember like what oh, Ronster typed something. Let's see. A majority of their speech was Japanese during their times of acknowledgements. I will be engaging in chat as best as I can. No problem, Ronster. Thank you for engaging with chat. It's always great to have an active chat. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's better to like enhance your skills as much as you can, because like during my math stream today, I was actually learning more about. So like one of my friends there, he's trying to teach me like higher levels of math. So there's a branch of math called real analysis and linear algebra, right? So real analysis is just basically a math proof version of calculus. So instead of doing calculations, you're actually trying to prove the ideas of calculus to be true. That's basically it. Like, because I'm pretty sure you're familiar with things like derivatives and the product rule, right?
Right.
So basically the class is basically, well, like real analysis is just basically proving why those ideas are true. That's basically what it is. And I know that probably went over a lot of people's heads, but basically it's just a subject of math that basically proves why math is math. That's basically what it is. Or why calculus is calculus. That's basically what it is. Okay. And he was basically like showing me like, you know, the introduction of how the real numbers behave, or like how numbers are set up in math. That's basically what he was teaching me. And I did learn a lot, you know. It's basically just like, think of it as like you're learning the structure of spells before you actually learn how to cast the spells. Like, you know, the chakra system is something like that.
Very complicated.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's usually how math is, actually. When I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's a really good simile I just made there. I just made it on the spot just now. It's just the chakra system. It's just like, what energy levels do you have to know? What elements do you have to manipulate? What things can you manipulate?
It reminds me of like really basic proof. It's like, how do you prove that something's even or something's?
Oh yeah, like basically like if x is even, then prove that the x squared is even. That stuff like that, yeah. But don't worry, guys, we're not going to talk about math. I'm just basically just sharing that what's going on today. But yeah, it's just kind of funny that my dad is just looking for like printers that are made in the U.S. because like
usually tariffs are listed. Usually, like a separate category. You know how they list like sales tax and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that's how they do it, so that we can see how much is.
Yeah, but my dad is like, I don't have time for that. It's like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Or maybe for him, it's like, I don't trust Japanese printers anymore because this Japanese printer that we bought like years ago is not working, and it's from a Japanese company. Because like, I think all of our printers like before, they were all Canon, except like I think our very first printer.
That's like, I asked a question earlier to my brother. It's like, how come there's a lot of like non-American cars around?
Yeah.
Right, like Honda, Toyota.
I think that's why they're like moving all their factories here. You know, like, I mean, it's kind of good that Americans are actually like getting back into manufacturing, because I think like I think like us Americans, like we're so used to either big business or we're so used to like doing things like, oh, we're hardcore Americans, we build stuff with our hands, we know how to go camping, we know how to do all this rough and tag stuff. Not to make fun of us Americans, but I'm just saying, like, we're all about the, like, you know, the hard red-blooded energy, you know? You get what I mean? So, you know, like, I think like Americans are proud of being manufacturers. They love building things. But at the same time, like, you know, what stuff can we truly make here? You know, that's the big question.
Well, there's always the cost of labor.
Right? Yeah, and there's also the cost of labor, and like, how much stuff are we gonna have to rely on imports to basically build stuff here? You know, I think like it was a really good strategy to actually have like microchips. What is it, like super semiconductors made here? I think that was a really great strategy because it's like, if Taiwan basically is like taken over by either China or like another power. Like, you know, that power controls practically like how the technology is being manufactured, you know? Ronster says, I still get Japanese cars. Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder what the reason is. Why is it? There's gotta be. It's because it's either cheaper, right? Or
Yeah.
more reliable, or
Yeah.
just better made.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. Let's see. And Rosser also says, yeah, and we make sure things don't last. Yeah, we make sure things don't last. Yeah, that's really like that. Really is like kind of like unfortunate because it's like, oh, hey, Alice, how's it going? If you guys are not familiar with Alice Wonderyland, so basically she streams like games like Elden Ring, as well as like some Dark Souls games and some like reaction streams too. So be sure to check out her content. And I think we're gonna get a clip. I don't know if oh, you're lurking. Oh, you're commuting home. Okay, don't worry. There we go. We got a clip from Alice right there. Oh, it's kind of funny that we're doing a podcast and this is a clip of you and Jay just doing a little podcast of your own. That's funny. I don't know if you have my stream up, Rainier, but like a clip is playing on my stream.
Oh.
I think it's already done. Oh no, yeah. Actually, like Alice, that like whenever you do stuff like that, I'm like, yo, I would be like, yo, it would be funny if we had a collab and we actually did a podcast. That would be pretty cool. I think, let's see, Ronster says, I think if I were to buy an American, I would go with Ford. But then again, I'll be shooting myself in the foot from endless problems. Yeah, I remember watching a video by, I think his name is Cole, I think his name is either Cole Hastings, I think. And basically he was talking about real estate, like housing. And he was like talking about how like modern day apartments, they are built out of wood and like they have a really strong cemented foundation, but the rest of the building's made of wood. So they're built not to last. And I'm like, that is pretty like sketchy. If you got what I mean. But then again, we Americans love to make things cheaper, like making the work go faster but at a cheaper cost. So, you know, Ross just said the housing market is stupid. Yeah, like the thing of it is that like the thing that we Americans love to popularize a lot is real estate, you know, and like if we're so big into real estate, why are we making the real estate so crappy? Like, I'm not saying like all American homes or apartments are built on bad foundation, but I'm saying like, why are we building them so that like they're just cheaper to build and not meant to last long, you know? Because that's supposed to be your investment, right? Like, what do you think, Rainier?
Well, I feel like they just want to build something so that like they can have an asset that appreciates, right? Because
yeah,
it's seen as an investment, so everyone's like buying it as an investment.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if like the foundation is crumbling because people still want it, people still buy it. Housing prices still goes up.
Yeah, I can never be a landlord. Like, if I built an apartment that way, I'll be like, yeah, it's no surprise that my tenants are calling, oh, the roof is cracked, my toilet doesn't work. And it's like, yeah, if I basically invested to build a crappy home, like I'm like, it's no surprise that I would be getting calls at 2 in the morning for that stuff, you know? Yeah. I mean, like, I have nothing against real estate, but it's something that's not my vibe, you know? Because, like, I don't want to be a landlord. Because I don't want to be getting calls from my tenants that basically says, oh, you have to fix this, or you have to fix that. And I know, like, for people that want to be responsible for other people, like, if that's your vibe, you know, like, all power to you. Like, you know, you're taking care of so many families and stuff.
You could always outsource that to, like a third-party company that will do it for you. Obviously, your profit margin for your you know, your mortgage or rent, your tenant's rent is going to be smaller, but you don't have to do all the managing.
Yeah, also, yeah, like for me, I would probably invest in REITs because like at least like I'm investing in real estate without having to own it. But at the same time, like you don't know, you have to really research to make sure that those homes are built on really great foundation. And not only that, you have to make sure that they're built by people that are not sketchy, which is probably really difficult to do because REITs, they just want to get the best for their stockholders.
It's pretty much hard to like determine the specifics of that, right? You're gonna have to be like the guy from The Big Short, the first guy.
Oh yeah.
To really investigate that, because REITs are just like you have like millions of houses under like specific REIT.
Oh, we're gonna get an ad in like 2 minutes, guys. So that's a forewarning for you. But if you wish to sub to the channel and skip the ads, you're more than happy to do so if you are willing to. If you want to, of course.
Oh yeah.
If you want to.
I heard that's pretty much how you'll majority make revenue now is from Twitch. It's like from ads, not necessarily from like subscribers and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like for ads, like I would probably make like $2 per stream. Like, so it's not as much. I think mostly content creators, they make a lot of money from like mainly like brand deals as well as
like sponsorships,
like sponsorships, brand deals, affiliate marketing, in addition to some subs. But I think like subs are probably not a huge chunk of like the revenue that I think most streamers that make it a business get, you know. So actually, Alice, like I know you're lurking in the chat, but like thanks for like putting us on during your commute, like during your walk home.
That's always I wonder always like and obviously I'm not a content creator myself, but something I've always wondered is the distribution of like revenue. Say like you're a YouTuber, right? Like so big. What is the percentage of revenue you get from, say, membership fees versus sponsorships versus the amount of views, right? Being a partner. I know it's different from like YouTube and Twitch and divvy up the.
Yeah, because like with YouTube, like the search algorithm is much better than Twitch, but with YouTube, you don't get that community, like that strong community that you build on Twitch. So usually when people want to become big streamers, they usually just put content out on YouTube and hopefully people find it and they come to your streams like when you're streaming. So, you know,
would you say like YouTube is more like for on-demand, more general public kind of idea versus Twitch is more like a niche, like community.
Yeah, because the search algorithm on Twitch is non-existent. I love Twitch and I hope they improve it, but at the same time it's like it's hard to find like any channel that you vibe with like easily on Twitch. Like that's my only complaint with it, but at the same time it's like I love how the fact that you can build a community just basically just streaming, because it's meant for that. It's meant to be for streaming.
Makes sense.
Let's see, Ronster. Oh, Alice basically says, yeah, it depends on the platform. Causes different platform changes, charges different things, right? Ronster says, it also depends on how you interact with the algorithm. Yeah, I mean, like, I get the algorithm thing because, like, you know, Twitch and YouTube are private companies, you know? And that's why, like, sometimes, like, I wonder, like, you know, like, when people complain about, like, being kicked off of Twitch or being kicked off of Twitter and being kicked off of YouTube, I'm like, they are a company, you know. They can kick you off if they feel like you're violating their policies. But, you know, like, it's the same thing with, like, you know, like, it's not right that, say, like, a bank, right? They can debank you because, like, they think they have a valid reason, when in actuality, they don't need a reason to debank you. And I think that's messed up.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of just, like, employment in general in America, right?
Right.
Like, the term at-will employment is so broad. You could get fired for no reason. The only, of course, there are certain protections, which is more of an exception, right? Like, of course, they can't fire you for discrimination, disability, yada yada. But like, theoretically, if they want to fire you for, like, say they think you're lazy, it doesn't matter whether you're actually lazy or not, right? Like, at will.
Yeah.
You choose to work in the company, and the company can choose to fire you or not. It's just yeah, it's interesting. So in a sense, like private companies just work like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like banks
I
can
get
just
that.
choose whoever their customer is. YouTube
Yeah.
can choose whoever they want to support. And
Yeah, I think like that's why like you know I know we get back to it a lot, but I think that's the reason why people like the idea of decentralization. And you know, like decentralization, usually that's like the label for like when people get into cryptocurrency and stuff, because they feel like, oh, this is the new frontier for making Web 2 into Web 3, you know. But of course, it's a buzzword that it's the same thing with quantum computing, right? It's like it's that new buzzword or AI, you know. It's like, is it gonna be up to the hype that it says it's gonna be, you know? Like the reason why people are so upset with like being canceled online is because the companies do have the power to kick you off, even though like you were just speaking, I guess, your own truth about a situation or a particular topic. But at the same time, it's like I think it's because the internet is so, I guess, like we think of the internet as a decentralized entity, but at the same time, if you, I guess, centralize it, people want it to be centralized to a degree, because obviously you don't want to be going on Google and then suddenly you don't want to find stuff that you would find on the dark web, you know? Like,
it's all
like
branding, yeah.
Like on the front page, right? Like you don't want to type stuff and then suddenly you see something from the dark web that's like on page 1, right? So I think it's like the internet is decentralized, but at the same time it's centralized to a degree on the top layer. And I think a lot of people want, like, I guess, like websites and platforms to be like decentralized, so that like if you're on YouTube and you're making money off of YouTube, right, it should be run as like a system that basically gives you that revenue regardless of what content you produce, right? Because like you are doing a job, right? You're basically doing what you feel is right for your particular audience, right? But then like if it doesn't fit with, I guess, like YouTube's viewpoint or like YouTube's like standards, right? I think I think people get mad because it's like, hey, you're supposed to do a website, a non-existent corporate entity. Like, in other words, they want it to be an entity that lets them get funding and get like money, but they don't want it to be controlled by someone that actually has a CEO seat or like a board of directors seat.
Just like a platform that doesn't moderate.
Yeah, like basically like they're like in cryptocurrency, right? There are things called decentralized exchanges. So it's basically an exchange that that is not owned by anyone. It's basically a website that's like decentralized, and you can basically exchange your own tokens to basically like trade for another one without human interaction. And like some of these like decentralized exchanges, not financial advice, guys, but at the same time, it's like you can go for a loan as long as you have 50% of the loan. You can take a loan out from these places, and like there's no questions asked, you know.
Wow.
So I think everyone wants everything to be automatic, but also they don't want a central power or a central authority to basically say, no, you can't do that because I don't like your views, or I don't I don't want you to get this because of, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know. It doesn't even have to be like political or anything. It could be just saying, oh, you just spell funny, you know, or you just look funny, or the algorithm doesn't like the way you present your photos on Instagram or something like that, you know. It's like stuff like that. It's just silly stuff, you know. But at the same time, I understand why people want like a central authority to actually basically say, hey, we have to monitor that, you know, because people can be relentless. They can be greedy, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
think
what's your opinion of like, because that's kind of like my view of like Kick.com, right?
Yeah.
The other streaming.
Yeah.
Seems like they're more lax when it comes to moderation.
I think I think for that. Yeah, I think with Kick, like, there was a part of me that actually felt like I should try Kick, but at the same time, I'm like, they are owned by a gambling, like, I mean, they're not owned, but they're kind of like, you guys in the chat can do the research if you want to, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know they have associations with gambling companies, and I'm not all about that. And even if they gave me a bigger payout than, say, Twitch does, which I don't get paid a lot by Twitch. Like I would probably get $50 like every like maybe like 4 months from Twitch, you know.
Wow.
So you know, like being a content creator, yeah, it's a lot of like it's a lot of hustle if you make it your hustle. But at the same time, like I'm trying to like learn things more, like whether it be my interest or whether it be like, you know, personal finance or whatnot. So you know. So like for me, I understand both sides, because like I was a hardcore liberal, but I'm not gonna basically say, oh, I was a hardcore liberal back then, but no, I'm conservative. It's like no, I'm not going in that route. But I am a bit more neutral when it comes to like other things. Like there's some things that conservatives have a decent point of view about, and there's some things that liberals have a decent point of view.
Well, I think
about.
that's the healthy approach, yeah, because
Yeah.
not every side's gonna have it 100% correct.
Right. Exactly. I think it's
You just
because
lean one over the other. But
yeah.
I think
Go on.
nowadays, people are more inclined to just follow everything from one side,
Right.
rather than having a more mixed.
Yeah, I think like the reason why people get into so much arguments about this stuff is because they're right to a certain degree. The problem is that they're not right 100%, but both sides just want to be like, no, I'm right 100%. And it's like, you're right probably
Right,
like
right,
around
exactly.
like you're right about like 57%, but not the rest of the other percentages, right? I didn't want to do the math in my head because I don't like arithmetic. Sorry, guys. Even though I love math, I hate arithmetic. Let's see. Ronster says they have conservative views on things. Yeah, that's true. Like, you know, my dad is very conservative, right? Like,
Which
you
one
know.
you talking about, Dick, or which one is Dick?
Let's see. They have conservative views on things. Yeah, I think also, yeah, Kick is like that too. It's like, you know, they're willing to like actually go over the bounds with things there, because I think in Kick, like if you show things like basically stuff from like naughty sites, I will use that word. I don't want to use the other N word because like you get what I mean.
You know, like you know, the red pill movement, right? I know
Yeah.
freshman is like a big one.
We probably should be
Yeah.
careful talking about that stuff because there's certain
Yeah.
words from that we can't say on Twitch.
Okay,
So, yeah.
I just want to just quickly say, like, I just know of Kick because that's like where they went after they
Yeah,
got banned
yeah.
from YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's because Kick, they offer more, but at the same time, it's like, I feel as if it's not worth it to me, because it's like,
Yeah.
I think with Kick, it's a little bit more edgy, and like, they're more lax about what you put on stream, but at the same time, it's like, I wonder how long it's gonna last, and I feel like, even though it may last longer, it just feels like it's not the right vibes for me. That's why I like Twitch. And plus, Twitch has purple in it, so I
Interesting
like,
to have,
I
like,
love the color purple.
exclusives. You know how like certain streamers get like exclusive deals with like Twitch or YouTube.
Yeah.
I remember the time with like Ninja, the
Mhm.
Fortnite streamer, and they were like,
Yeah.
he like moved to Twitch,
Mm.
or was it Twitch or the one? Oh man, there was that one streaming site from like Microsoft. I forgot about it now. Do you
Oh, I
remember
don't-
what it was?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. They used to be like a couple years ago.
Like, if YouTube included streaming in their platform and they made it as easy as Twitch, then I think Twitch would probably be in big trouble at that point.
What is it called? Let me see.
Like, I would stream on YouTube, but at the same time, they just make it so... Like, they make it too professional to the point where it's like... I understand what they're doing because it's like, oh, if you're gonna be someone streaming on YouTube, you have to know what... Like, you actually have to put in, like, the thumbnail. You actually have to plan out what you're doing and all that stuff. But for me, I just feel as if it's, like, too much planning on my part. In addition, like... There's two buttons to stream. When you press stream on your OBS, it doesn't automatically stream to your YouTube. You have to click on like another button to stream on YouTube, to basically turn on the streaming for YouTube. And I find that very, very like annoying.
Just not integrated.
Yeah, yeah. Go on.
I looked up the services Mixer. Oh my god, I forgot about Mixer.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I guess that shows how successful they were to reaching me. They did.
Yeah.
They did it.
I couldn't even remember what they were called, but they it was like they made a deal with both Ninja and Shroud. They took
Interesting.
them from Twitch. And they
Interesting.
were trying to grow, yeah.
Yeah, there's even a new platform for like streaming that's not OBS. I forgot. I think it's called Meld or something like that. Like it's supposed to make, I think, streaming a little bit less of complicated than OBS. But the way I saw it, it was like, yeah, they make it simple, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know if I would use this because I would have to transfer all my stuff from OBS into that, and at the same time, it's like, would it make it easier to transfer the stuff? And more likely, it's not because it's two different platforms, and plus, it's not open source because like OBS is open source, whilst Meld is like, I think it's like closed source because there's an actual company behind it. But I think that's what people want from the internet mainly. It's like they want every website and every streaming and video platform to be open source. I think that's what people really want from these sites because it's like they want it so that nobody controls what they're doing, but they also want to be successful through those platforms. You know? It's like we want the platform to exist, but we don't want the hierarchy to exist. And I think that's what people want from the internet.
What is the dominant streaming site now? Is it YouTube still, or is it? Let me see.
I don't know. We could probably Google it and check it out. Rainer is also my informations guy sometimes because he has his computer like right in front of him.
Finally, dual monitors.
Let's see. Ronster says Mixer. Yeah, I didn't think they're gonna last. It gonna last. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never even heard of them. I'm like, what are they?
I was like, what is that thing? I just remember it was developed by Microsoft, and I only remember them because back in the time when I was like watching like Apex, like streamers and stuff, like Ninja and Shroud both like went there from Twitch. That's why it became kind of like the headline, you know.
Right.
I was like, man, I forgot about Mixer.
I'll be right back, Rainier. You can entertain chat if you like.
All right. Hold on. To entertain you guys, I gotta have to open the stream because I don't have the chat up. Where does Peter link their stream? In Discord. Uncle Talks. Okay. I keep trying to put like Mahjong Talks or something, and I was like, why is it not showing up? Uncle Talks. Crazy.
Okay, guys, I'm back. Hey, Kev, how's it going? Welcome to the chat, Kev. Actually, Kev, like, since you're here, like, I don't know if Alice is still lurking, but, Alice is in the chat. She's also Vietnamese, by the way, because I know you two are Vietnamese.
Oh. 100%.
Kev and Alice are really big team players. So when you tell them that they have a similarity, they'll be like, yo, Team Viet, let's go. They just love being part of a team. Like, you know, like when they're part of a team, like they go hardcore like loyalist mode. I'm so glad.
I must say though that it's I live in a like area where there's not really a minority.
Yeah.
Like relative to where we live, right, Peter? Like where we used to, you know, go to college and all that. New Jersey is very diverse.
Yeah, it is.
I'm in the Midwest now, and it's like.
Yeah, I mean, like
5% over here.
Yeah, like so, like you actually do feel like the minority like feel, right?
Right.
Oh,
like
okay.
yeah. Because remember, Jersey City is like a majority city. That's where I grew up. Went to high school around that area. Rutgers.
Yeah.
It's diverse. There's a lot of all walks of life.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the demographics where I am is between like 5 to 10, and it's Asians, right? But like Asians is like such a broad category. It's literally like every single Asian is 5 to 10%,
Yeah.
including like Indians and
Yeah, including
Yeah.
people from India. Yeah.
Laotian.
Yeah, people from India are considered Asian, guys. Don't have a cow.
Yep.
I have to like remind people of that, and some people are like, "No, they're not," and I'm like, "Yes, they are.
Yeah, they are categorized
They
as
are. They are. Even in Great Britain, they're considered Asian." And I'm like, "Yeah, they are Asian."
That's why it's like, ooh, yeah, there's 5 to 10% Asian
Yeah.
here, but
Yeah.
hardly any like East Asian, Southeast Asian. Like mixture.
So, oh, Kev is playing Honkai Star Rail. Okay, that's cool. Dang, I wonder if we could do mahjong. We could probably do it after the podcast, but then again, we need a fourth player.
I haven't
Okay.
played Mahjong in forever. I play like my main game is Final Fantasy 14, and
Yeah.
there's a Mahjong here,
Yeah.
and I want to get this Mahjong title, right? And I gotta
Yeah.
get like the ranking, like 1800 rank.
Are you
and
playing
I'm
like
just
10
like-
hole?
Huh?
Are you playing 10 hole or another mahjong?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, for Final Fantasy 14.
Over Final Fantasy. Okay.
Oh, Final Fantasy 14 has their own integrated like Mahjong system in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like certain achievements based on it, and certain like player titles based on it.
Oh,
But
okay.
to get it, I have to get like a certain rank. It's like
Yeah.
a numeric rank that you get. I'm just like, I want to get it.
Oh, okay. I see.
Well, like maybe I should get you to like log in for me. 'Cause you're probably way better at Mahjong than I am.
Oh, really? I sometimes play like randomly too, because like whenever I stream Mahjong Soul, like there will be people that are better than me in chat, and it's like, no, discard this one. What are you doing? Like they would backseat play me, and I'm like, yo, dude, I'm just playing for this for fun, you know. But like,
Let me see.
you know how competitive people are. It's like they try to make every move count, and I'm like, I get it, you know. Like if you're playing like a Dark Souls game or something, you want to make sure that you beat the boss. And like every move will basically count against you if it's wrong, you know. So like I get it, but at the same time it's like, yo, this is just a fun game. Like, you know,
Yeah,
just relax.
I'm wanting. So my highest rating is 1700, and I need at least 1800, and then there's another one for 2000 ranking or rating rather, and then I think first place. If you get first place, is plus 30 points, and
Yeah.
then plus 15 for second place, and then third is minus 15, fourth is minus 30. So I guess it's like you really just don't want to like get third or fourth place.
Right.
Try
Let's
your best to like
see.
use the
Roster
first,
says, but it is curious as to why it's wrong. Like, what is wrong, Roster? Unless you're like talking to Kev about something. But why is it wrong to mahjong? I don't get what you. Like when people tell me that I basically make a wrong discard or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's because they can see it more ahead of me, or like for that, because like I'm really bad at reading discards. Like whenever I see discards, I sometimes don't pay attention to the discards, and I'm like just throwing tiles that I think are things that will make my hand get there faster. So sometimes I don't read the discards a lot. And like sometimes like people in my chat, like since they're better than me, they're basically like, no, why aren't you reading the game? It should be like this or should be like that. Now of course they're not very like pushy on that, but sometimes like I do get a little bit like tense whenever people are like, no, you should have made this Yaku or that Yaku or something like that. You know, that sort of thing. But, you know, like I guess like when good players see a player that's like not as skilled as them, they just want to basically try to control the narrative to the point where it's like, what are you doing? You're supposed to do this or you're supposed to do that. And I'm like, I get enough of that from my dad, like when it comes to that stuff like that, so thank you very much. So, you know, like it's basically like I'm trying to be a surgeon, but I'm surrounded by administration that basically are telling me, no, to do the surgery on this celebrity you have to give the best possible result. And I'm like, I can't do that with you telling me how to use the scalpel.
Yeah, Mahjong is interesting because you think it's a game mostly luck, but like,
Yeah.
there's definitely skill expression in the game. That like,
It's like I think it's like reflective on like how life is. Like You know, like, some people are successful in life because they were in the right place at the right time and they had the right skills for the right person. That's how I usually think of success. It's like, you had the right skills, you had the right time, and you met the right person.
Yeah,
That's what I...
luck meets opportunity kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's basically how, like, success is. Because, you know, like, I get people when they say you gotta work hard at things, but at the same time, like, there are, like, a lot of people that work really hard. Let's say a person has a family, right? They work 2 jobs, but yet they're still, like, below the poverty line, right? And they're working 2 jobs, right? Would you say that person's not working hard?
They're hardworking, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like, some people, like, that are, like, in that state where they're, like, they are making, like, at least, like, close to, like, 7 figures, right? They would basically be like, yeah, but they're not working hard enough. And it's like, how hard does a person need to work? Like, is it because they're not putting their energy in the right resources or something like that? And they will find 100 reasons why this person's not doing well. Because they have the privilege of basically being, like, you know, on the shoulders of giants, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of your upbringing and the environment you're in.
Yeah.
Whether you have to work or not. Like, I went to college and didn't really have to work, you know?
Yeah,
like I know some people that work full-time while going full-time in college. I'm like,
right.
What? How do you do that?
Yeah, because, like, for me, it's like, I don't believe we live in a meritocracy, and if you guys don't know what that is, meritocracy is basically, like, a society that's bent on the harder you work, the more successful you'll become, right? I think it's something that we hold on as human beings as an ideal, the same as, like, we believe that freedom is meant for all people. At the same time, I feel as if that's not the world we live in.
Well, certain work has certain value, right?
Yeah, but I think, like, we have to live life in a way where it's like we have to work hard, but I think to work hard to gain financial, I guess the quote-unquote financial success, I think that's an illusion.
Wouldn't it be more like you work hard to get a higher rate of pay, technically? Instead of working, it's not that we should work hard for more hours, it's that we should work hard to get paid more. Like rate.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, even that kind of viewpoint, like, it's like, what I notice is that when people try to, like, work harder to get higher pay, they're still in the same place that they were before. Like, they're still, like, if they're trying to be richer, right? Like, if they're middle class and they switch jobs for a job that's higher pay, they're still as miserable as they were before, and they're still middle class. And then they ask themselves, it's like, why is it that I'm still in the same place? I thought once I get this job, I would be better off, but they're not. What
I would say is that if you are middle class,
yeah,
that, like, I think you're in pretty comfortable shape. I think true middle class in the country is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and it's also changing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. It's being eroded.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah.
But I think middle class is, I mean, like, I have no desire personally to be rich, right? Like, I don't care to be a millionaire or anything like that. Basically, I just want to live a comfortable life, and, you know, that's very subjective, what comfortable is. But comfortable life doesn't involve a lot of money.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I want to travel once in a while. I don't have to travel all the time.
Yeah.
I don't have to have, like, a fancy car or a mansion or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's, like, being humble with, like, what you got, you know, and also grateful for what you got, right?
But yeah, at the same time, to get, like, that kind of salary, I guess you do have to have some sort of skill, or you could do something of what other people would consider valuable.
And also buying assets too, like, you know, like I said, not a financial advice, but, like, you know, it's like rich people, they get richer because they buy stuff like real estate, or like they
you make assets work for you, right?
Yeah, you make assets work for you, and you basically borrow against those assets. Because I noticed that when people have a high stock portfolio, they can borrow stuff either on margin, or they can borrow using a I think it's called an SP lock. If you guys are not familiar with that, so basically an SP lock is like you borrow against your stock portfolio, and the thing about an SP lock is, like, since it's considered a loan, your taxes are basically kind of lowered, because, like, you're taking money, but it's expected that you would pay it back. But the thing of it is that there's no deadline for these loans. for an SB lock. Like when you borrow, all you have to do is pay the interest, like every month, but you're not required to pay the principal back. You can keep it as long as you need it to. You just have to pay the interest every single month. So, like, that's why people like stocks, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna put a lot of money in my stock portfolio, and if it keeps earning like at least 10% per year, I'm gonna be earning more money. And plus, like, once I borrow against it, I'll be able to like sustain my lifestyle, and I don't have to pay the loan back, technically.
The only thing is, obviously, we cannot predict the future, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
Like borrowing and stuff
Yeah.
in general is really good
Yeah.
for like bull markets or like a stock market that goes up.
Yeah.
And we don't know when we're gonna hit a prolonged bear market.
Yeah,
Like,
because like,
obviously we've had the Great Recession, but that was like a long time ago.
yeah,
Or you could say like the 2008 crash, but even that kind of recovered pretty quick, right? I
Yeah.
think in 4 years it already like equaled out.
yeah, they even have a name for it. They call it the buy, borrow, die strategy. And like, yeah, you don't want to borrow too much. Like, say if you can borrow like 50% of your portfolio, like, don't be doing that. This is not financial advice, but at the same time, it's like, only borrow like a small percentage of it. Because if you live below your means and you have a really good portfolio, if you're borrowing like a little bit, like, there's a less likely chance you could be margin called.
Oh, what is your personal view of like a good portfolio? Are you like you're someone who looks for dividends, or someone who looks for like
I'm trying to
startups or tech, or what?
I'm trying to veer towards like dividends right now, because like you know, like I'd rather those dividends like get my portfolio moving upward, so that
So
way
more like a Warren Buffett style kind of ish.
sort of,
Warren
yeah.
Buffett is more value, yeah. It's not,
Yeah, he's
not
more
necessarily
value,
big.
yeah. I do try to learn the Warren Buffett strategy, where it's like he looks at businesses and he knows how like business sheets work. So it's like you look at the business sheet and you basically take how much they earn and how much debts they have, and then you basically try to calculate that and see how much value they have, and then you basically try to work it against the price to see if it's too high or too low, and like how the management is.
Right.
And I think that's basically what the US rewards the most. It's like when it came to investors, they love to make things easier for investors. That's why the tax code is just meant for them. Because it's like when you're an investor, you basically are just earning money and you're getting like different tax benefits from that.
I agree. This country's ran for investors.
It's meant for investors. That's why it's so much easy. Like, I'm not saying it's easy to be rich, but it's easier to get rich here than it is from other countries.
Yeah, because if you are in Japan, you know, with their stock market that's been stagnant for
Oh yeah.
2 decades now.
I bet you they have like a lot of American investors there. Like, it's like American investors, it's like, oh, I'm still living in America, so I don't have to worry about the other things in Japan.
Well, I mean, their history was the bubble bursting, right, in the 90s.
Yeah.
I think they had a ton of foreign investors,
Right.
like investing in real estate, for example. Like they like to say that, oh, the you know, couple square miles in Tokyo is worth more than like New York City.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. And then like their bubble bursted, and then not ever since then they were like stagnant.
Yeah. Let's see. Kev typed history slightly repeating. Like, I'm reading back on chat, guys, because I know you guys typed a lot. Let's see. Success is different from people different. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. Worked during the time when I was at community college. I was just reckless with my money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's fair. Like, like that happens to everybody. Like, you have something you love and you spend money on it, because like, what am I supposed to enjoy? I have to enjoy my life. And you know, like,
yeah, like life is all about in my opinion, guys. Like, it's all about balance between like taking care of your future by like, you know, paying out debts and like investing and living the present, because you don't want to just like put everything in retirement funds and like, you know, you don't even get to live
like, enjoy it.
today.
You don't get to enjoy it when you're young.
And then you unfortunately croak at like age 50 and you're like, what did you save for, you know?
Yeah, he also Kev also typed that's why some people are business owners, or another word, they become their own boss and make their earning finances. Yeah, and actually the thing of it is that some people are even realizing the fact that it's not even worth being your own boss. The only thing that you get, the only thing that you can get from it is just borrowing against your business.
From what I heard, they work so much.
Yeah, they work so much, and like,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are waking up to that. It's like, yeah, I want to live the entrepreneur benefits, but I don't want to live the entrepreneur life.
You're married for life, yeah.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that like a lot of people are like, but if it's not the entrepreneur life, then what is next? Like you're gonna be a 9 to 5, like robot the rest of your life. And the thing of it is that I think a lot of people are trying to realize that I don't really need to live that life. It's like I just have to find the perfect balance. Like I don't have to work 40 hours. I just have to find a job that I can work for 5 hours and then just basically have the money that I make work for me. You know?
I do think that like entrepreneurs, I do respect entrepreneurs in a sense that like they're definitely taking a lot of risk.
Oh yeah.
If your business fails, then you've failed like hundreds of thousands of dollars, or if you borrowed from the bank, you have that much loan.
Right.
And I have seen multiple businesses, even local to me, and usually, of course, it's like the restaurant businesses that I notice, because like say, an Indian restaurant is up in 2020, and then they closed in 2022, that kind of stuff, and you notice them.
No, I give entrepreneurs a lot of credit because they are willing to take the big risks that not many people are willing to take, because you will fail like almost a lot of the time.
Some of them fail, and I'm like, I wonder what happened to them, because there was even like a local pizza shop near me, and like their stick is like they kind of like a circular pita bread instead of like your regular pizza base.
Yeah.
But like they were like in business for maybe 2 years, and then they closed down.
Yeah. I'm also trying to research more on debt because, many rich people will probably say that, people that are middle class and poor, they look at debt very differently compared to rich people, because, like, if you actually have, because, I think it is true that people say there's good debt and bad debt, but of course, because we are Asians, like, we're so used to debt being very, very bad.
Bad in general.
Yeah, I thought of it too. I thought that too at first. Because credit card debt is really bad because it's like 24% interest rate and you have to pay it all back. That is bad. But when it comes to when I found out about debts that you don't have, I think what makes debt so scary for people is because when you actually have to pay the principal back at a timeline.
Well, it's more, I think when they say that you have bad and good debt, it really refers to common uses of debt with the working class and middle class is you take on debt to consume. So you take on debt to buy a new car. You take on debt to buy furniture. Any other things that's like besides like buying a house. But those are kind of like, it's not making money for you, right? Like the assets depreciating.
Which is why the rich usually borrow against assets so they can buy more assets.
Yes, exactly.
So it's basically what people want. They want a faster velocity of money. So basically,
so the good debt is you borrow to make to put it more in stocks and stuff. So you leverage your stock position.
Yeah, because when I was reading this book, I think it's called The Value of Debt. I think it's called The Value of Debt, the pathway to building wealth. And basically in the book, they were talking about how people when they get a mortgage, and I keep saying over this podcast, guys, not financial advice. I'm just basically talking about what I've learned. And of course it's from a book, so I haven't implemented this, so don't do this. Don't do this. I'm just basically expressing what I'm learning, is that when you take a mortgage out, right, you're expected to pay the whole thing back, right? According to the author, right, you would probably earn more money, basically, he's not saying you shouldn't pay back your mortgage. He's basically saying you should pay it. You should pay it back slower than your savings rate, because you want to increase your savings rate.
Savings? I thought the common from what I remember is people say to put it in the S&P, because S&P is they say it returns 7% over a long period of time. And
so,
your mortgage is
that's also included. That's also included with that. So you increase your savings rate. In addition, you use the money that you earn to basically put it into other investments that basically will increase your velocity of money. So you're basically building up your wealth pool, but you're still paying, like, say, like a little bit of your mortgage, but not as fast as, say, someone that is determined to get rid of it. Because a lot of people pay back their mortgage because they really want to get rid of it.
Yeah. The only
Because
thing, to kind of like put perspective on the other side, though,
Right.
like paying off debt as the way I would see it
yeah,
is paying off debt is kind of like a secure, guaranteed investment. Meaning, like S&P 500 or whatever it is that you deem as safe and returns a lot more higher than paying off your loan.
yeah,
Have inherent risks to it, right? Like if you get caught in the middle of a crash or something like that.
yeah.
But if you pay off like debt, it's like a guaranteed investment because you pay off, you can see your interest decrease, so you don't have to pay as much interest.
Yeah.
And obviously it's guaranteed. So if you
I agree with you too, because like debt can put mental stress on you too, and I get that.
Right.
But at the same time, like when I actually looked at the numbers, like the way that they described it, I'm like, it kind of makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay off your debt. You should pay off your debts. But at the same time, like, can you actually pay off your debts with someone else's money? That's another thing. And like when you actually invest, like say like in a stock portfolio, and your stock portfolio is giving you like dividends, like why not use the dividends to pay it back?
Yeah.
Because it's other people's money, right? So it's like I know it sounds like squirmy to say that, but at the same time, it's like that's what the rich people do. They basically borrow against their assets with other people's money. That's how they remain rich.
the profit or the cash flow of the company.
Yeah.
Which, instead of paying their workers higher salaries.
Yeah, like Elon Musk and like Jeff Bezos, they borrow against their own company stock all the time just to buy stuff that they don't need, like a yacht or something for their house or something like that. And it's like, why are you taking out debt against your own company? It's like, because I know my company's good for it. That's basically what they're doing.
Trip to outer space. That's what Bezos is doing.
Kev typed something. I will say I cleared debt out, but I wish I knew how to save my money better. I think but the thing of it is, Kev, like, I think saving money is like the thing of it is that like you just like to spend it on things you like to do, and that's not a bad thing. The thing of it is that like I think you have the impulse to save. You do have the impulse to save because you can keep control of that.
I mean, the way I say it, it's like you cleared your debt. You're already better than like majority of Americans.
Yeah, because like
it's already a congratulations to you.
Just
the fact that you cleared debt.
Yeah, because I think like when it comes to debt, right? Like there's good debt and bad debt. If you're taking debt on a credit card or like something that will just give you a loan to buy something that doesn't earn you money, that's bad debt. But if it's if it's debt to buy a house and you're using that house and renting it out so you can actually like get money off of it, that's considered good debt. If you're getting a high rate of return on the rent, so you have to know. So if the rate of return is higher than the debt percentage, in other words, like the debt interest rate, then yeah, you will basically get a better return because you took out debt, you used people's money, and you're earning more money because of that. So I think it's just a matter of just basically knowing how to increase your money's power, like just being able to make your money work for you. I think that's basically what it is. Like I think with you just are disciplined with like knowing when you spend too much. But like sometimes when you say like, oh, I spend it on you, like I was stupid because I spent it on Yu-Gi-Oh cards or Pokemon cards and stuff, and I have to basically say that don't call yourself stupid for that because you're just enjoying yourself. The reason why you keep saying that is because you're thinking about how your parents told you this stuff. And that's what I get a little bit annoyed with because like I mean, you know about Robert Kiyosaki, right? Rainier?
Poor Dad, Rich Dad.
Yeah, Rich Dad. Like the one thing he says is that I never want to say I can't afford it. Because when you say you can't afford it, that means you are not able to have the ability to obtain it if you really, really want it. Right? Like, there's some things I agree with him on it, and there's some things that I don't agree with him with. And this is my big gripe with entrepreneurs. One, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. Let's be real about that. And hi, Big Pop. Welcome to the chat.
It's a smaller minority.
Yeah, it's a small minority. And like entrepreneurs, they love basically saying, "Be an entrepreneur, be an entrepreneur." And I'm like, not everyone's meant to be an entrepreneur. That's not gonna happen. And the one other thing that I get really peeved about with entrepreneurs is that they love to say how the school system failed them. A lot. And I basically am like, if it's so bad, why didn't you guys ever try to change it? I don't know if I ever made the spiel about it during our previous podcast. Like, do you remember? Because I don't want to repeat myself if I have.
Not about Robert Kiyosaki.
But have I basically talked about how entrepreneurs are not changing education, even though they love to complain about it?
I don't remember. I don't feel on that yet.
Okay, then I guess I'll go on a little bit of a rant.
Oh, hold on. Give me a second. Someone's calling me.
Yeah, no problem.
For 1 minute.
Let's see what you guys type. You guys are actually typing a lot. I want to see what you guys type. Let's see. I just need to pick better discussion on spending. Yeah, because, like, the thing of it is that, Kev, like, sure you do have, like, I'm not going to say you have a spending problem. It's just that I think it's just, like, you're trying to enjoy life the way you want to. It's just that the thing of it is that I think it's because, like, your money is just not working for you. I think that's the thing. That's just what I feel there is. And, of course, it's not going to happen overnight, of course. Let's see. But they aren't too wrong. I need to save for a better place of my own. But yeah, that's also true. They're not wrong, but also they're not 100% right. You should also keep that in the back of your head. Like, our parents are still, like, middle class technically. They're not rich. Like, would you rather take advice from someone that's still middle class, or would you rather take advice from someone who's already rich? That's also another question you have to ask yourself. Right? I'm not saying our parents are wrong, but I'm also saying they're not 100% right either. Hey, I didn't know. hey, Sasha. I didn't know you have a podcast. We do it every second Monday. So, like, me and Rainier do it every second Monday. Too much on Hutawa. Oh, that's funny. That's very, very funny. That's very funny, Big Pup. But welcome, guys. Like, everyone that just joined, what's the best part of your day so far? But yeah, like, the thing of it is that I think it's just basically just making your money work for you. I think that's the one thing. But people are also scared to take the risk because it's really risky to do stuff like that. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be stocks or anything. It could be, like, something, like, different. Like, some people put money into life insurance and stuff, which is not, which I'm saying, this is not financial advice. But there's, like, different ways of actually increasing your wealth, you know? But it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen, like, little by little. You know? So it's like, you put a little bit there, you put a little bit there, and, like, probably, like, within, like, 5 to 10 years, you see a lot of results. But, of course, it's not guaranteed, though, because, like, sometimes you put your money at the wrong time and the market goes down. But then the market goes up, and then suddenly you take your money out before the market goes back up, because you never know. Been good. Drink some lime, lemon. Oh, wow, you're having a party, Big Pup. I have no clue what it's called. Don't be drinking drinks that you don't know what it's called. That's something you don't want to do. But yeah, like, I think that's the reason why, I guess, millennials and generations after, they like to basically say, like, how it's much harder for us, and it's pretty much true, because it's much harder for us to buy a house. In addition, it's much harder for us to, like, basically, like, get to, like, the I guess, the stepping stones of, like, what is considered middle class, you know? And the thing is that we just have different ideas on how to solve the problem. Because, like, some people are like, oh, people just have to work harder to get to the place they want to be. And, like, some people are like, but the system is set up so that we can't work harder. We're working as much as we can, and we're not getting anywhere. How much do you want us to work? And both sides are right in that regard. But at the same time, it's like, it feels as if we have to constantly argue and scream with each other and basically say to the other side, hey, join us so that we can actually fix this problem. But nothing's getting fixed because they're just busy arguing with each other. Oh my gosh, Big Pop. I never thought I would like actually read that coming from you. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like you know, like wherever you are in life, like you're more than just the numbers in your bank account. Like you're more than just basically what your skills are. You are defined by your choices. And you know, like some people like to joke around. It's like, well, my choices are all bad, so I must be a bad person. It's like, yeah, if you choose to think that way, but you have the choice to think that way. And you know, I think like you, if you value yourself and know that you have like value to contribute to the world for like more people than just yourself, that's when I think like mostly people find themselves more successful in life. Like that's why like a person like they're like, oh, I don't mind working 2 jobs because I know I'm supporting my family and you know, giving them as much as they need. And you know, that's why some people are like, why do you do it? Why do you do like 2 jobs? Why do you like, why don't you just try like, you know, like this opportunity or that opportunity? And he's like, it's not very stable for me, and I don't mind doing these 2 jobs even though I'm not getting paid as much. But at the same time, it's like, I know I'm supporting my family, and like, you know, I don't really hate my jobs. You know, because the thing of it is that everyone has different perspectives, and everyone will have their perspective, and they will actually put it on you. So the thing of it is that I think like if you want to get to somewhere where someone has been, you just have to basically say, are you at the place where I'm at? And if it's coming from, if someone's talking to you and they're talking very cynically or like critiquing you, but they're not at the place that you want to be, then more likely you shouldn't listen to those people. Because if they're not where you're at to be, then they're not going to lead you anywhere except like just to be where they're at. I think that's the reason why like people that are into status, like they really want to hang out with people that are rich and powerful, because it's like they feel as if, oh, they're gonna lead me to the connections I need to be, but they don't even ask the people that are rich and like successful, like how did they get there. They just want to be around them so they can latch onto their coattails. But for people that are actually naturally curious and they want to know how to increase their wealth from someone that actually has done it, they basically ask them a lot of questions about it. And they legit become their friend because they want to learn, not because they want to earn like money from them. Because that person will, like, if they're like really close and you actually develop a strong friendship that goes beyond wealth, then you realize that you learn something. And when you learn more, that's when people start earning more. It's that you learn something. It could be like from a market, from a different market, or it could be from like, you know, it could be like a certain skill that you never thought you could utilize to earn more, you know? We are also just a clump of atoms, right, yeah. Because we're all small little tiny specks in this universe, you know? So, you know, life's too short, you know? But I get why people are worried about their finances and stuff, because they want to be able to survive and thrive. I guess like people don't feel like they're thriving enough, and they feel like they have to do whatever they can to thrive further. But it's really hard, because when you try to thrive in a system that feels as if like it's not really giving you enough to work with, then you have to actually be like thinking about, what am I doing wrong? Who should I talk to? And what skills do I have to utilize in order to get to where it is that I want to be? And you also choose who you put in your head. Like, you know, like, you can't let people live in your mind rent-free if they're just being negative to you all the time. Because, like, if the people that are not where you want to be at talk to you and they make you feel bad about yourself, then probably more likely they're talking to themselves. They're not talking to you. I mean, that's my opinion on that matter. Because, I mean, I think you guys are successful in more ways than one. I mean, even though I might not know you personally, I just feel as if, like, if you're, like, humble enough to be open with your own humility and acknowledge that, yeah, I've made mistakes, but at the same time, I'm willing to learn from them and, like, try to understand why I did wrong, why the thing I did was wrong, then I would say you're probably more successful than people that don't want to acknowledge that. And also, if you guys want to basically discuss like how you kind of feel like if you feel like you're behind or whatever, like, you know, you can always like come on chat and basically just like discuss it, you know, because like we all need to pick me up from someone that is willing to like give us the support we need. We are successful because our atoms managed to stick together to form the chemical bonds that bound together to create us. Yep, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, I think like basically we're like, I do believe that we're stronger as a unit. Like, you know, you don't need to like inspire like millions of people. You just need to inspire at least one. And you know, that one person, like, they probably, like, you never know. It could be like someone who's a CEO and they're like, I see the talent in you and I want to put my money into you. And you're like, why me? And then like, you know, they will give you their own reasons for it. And you don't know why, it just happens. But of course, like, many people were like, yeah, but where's that person for me? Like, you know, I'm just making decent wage. I'm barely paying my rent and all that stuff, you know? And the thing of it is that, like, yeah, like, that's why I don't think that the universe is, like, determined. I usually think that there's, like, different frequencies. And, like, if you're in the right place at the right time, I feel like the frequencies will basically align. Now, of course, that does sound like it's a bit spiritual hocus pocus, but I kind of feel like, you know, like, if you give the aura of someone that basically is willing to look into the positive rather than the negative, I feel like you will be able to overcome many things that throw at you. Now, I'm not saying that bad things won't happen to you if you think more positively, but at the same time, it makes you feel as if there's something to look forward to rather than something to not look forward to, if you get what I mean.
I'm back. Okay.
Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello.
Yeah, we're just, like, I was just basically discussing about how, you know, like, if you want to be successful in a certain area, you should listen to the people that have gotten to where you want to be. Not where, like, you know, where people, like, basically that, if you shouldn't listen to the people that are not where you want to be yet. You get what I'm saying?
Common advice,
Mm-hmm.
say like you're trying to climb to the corporate ladder or you want to be someone, you look at their LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
say you want to be a vice president of, I don't know, a hospital, for example, when you
Yeah.
look at, you look at a CV of someone in the same position and you see like the pathway they took to get there.
Yeah. And also, the thing of it is that you should also ask, why is the reason you want to be a vice president? Most people would give the typical, like, I don't want to say this, but I probably should. The wet blanket answer, where it's like, I want to be a vice president so I can earn more money. Yeah, that's part of it, but at the same time, is there a bit deeper reason for that? Do you like the company? Do you like the hospital? Like, do you care about the people? Do you care about the workers there?
Yeah, to be fair, saying you want to be a vice president is kind of too specific, and I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people ask that question.
Yeah.
But usually you just look at, like, if you are trying to climb the corporate ladder, then you just look towards, like, your boss, right?
Yeah.
Just look at what qualifications they have, what
Right.
skills they have.
Right, yeah.
You need to.
That's why, like, I think rich people, they talk about mentors a lot. Like you have to actually have a mentor that's, like, at where you want to be at, you know? And, like, that's really hard to find, but at the same time, if you're curious enough, you will end up looking for one. I mean, I did find, like, a math mentor. Sasha's in the chat. So, like, you know,
Hey.
he's my math mentor. He's willing to teach me real analysis and linear algebra, so I'm good on the math end so far. And he's willing to answer my questions whenever I need them, so, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I try to find, like, and I also do online courses too, like, you know, the buy, borrow, die strategy was something that I discovered, like, probably this year, but I knew about it, but I, like I said, like, since I still have a middle class mentality, like, debt is still considered, like, almost like a bad word to me. But then at the same time, like, I try to look at debt in a whole different way, you know? So, like, how rich people view it. So I'm like, okay, how can I change my mindset? Now, of course, like, I'm not saying you should take, like, a lot of debt or anything, but I'm basically saying, like, from what I've gathered from, like, what I've read from books by, like, people that are wealthy, it seems as if you have to have a perfect balance between like, you know, having savings, but also like you can take a little risk. Take a little risk.
Yeah.
But not big risk, like, you know, like you borrow 50% of your portfolio. No, that's a big no-no. I mean, if you feel like you can stand the storm, because people have different, what is it? Different thresholds of pain, right?
Yeah, risk tolerance.
Yeah, risk tolerance, right? If you have a big risk tolerance and you have a high pain tolerance, then, you know, I'm not here to tell you what you should do. And like I said, not financial advice. But, you know, like, life is always going to have risk. Whether it be talking to, like, you know, someone that you wish to attract in your life romantically, or whether it be just making your money, like, increasing your wealth, you know. There's always going to be a big risk. So, basically, all in all, I'm basically saying, guys, is just be careful, know what you can handle, and whatever you can handle, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to strengthen yourself in strides.
Well, if you don't know what you're doing, pay off your debt. Always a safe way.
Yeah.
Always a safe way.
Always a safe way, yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, yeah, like, always manage yourself, like, it doesn't even have to be, like, something that you can't afford, right? Like, if you're gonna take debt to increase your wealth, right? Like I said, not financial advice. But, like, if it's something, like, say, like, if you have, like, 10K and you borrow, like, $1,000, you could pay that off easy, you know? Just start small. And, like, if you put it, like, in your stock portfolio, right? You borrow, like, $1,000 and put it in your stock portfolio, right? Let's say your stock portfolio increases to, like, basically, like, like you put 1,000 in there, it went up to 2,000 next year. That's doable, you know. You earn money without actually having to put your own money in there, you know. It's those small, tiny stuff, like that tiny steps, you know. But like I said, not financial advice, but it's a good way to get your feet wet, you know. It's like I actually got $1,000 and I didn't have to work for it. I just basically just put it in, and it basically did the work for me.
I should consider leveraging my taxable, but I don't know what the interest rate is nowadays because it's variable in the.
Yeah, it's variable by the Federal Reserve. Yeah. Right now, the interest rate is like I think for stocks or like for like margin loans, I think it's like around 6.25%. I think.
It's kind of rough for a.
Yeah, it's pretty high, but at the same time, like I think like for people that know what they're doing, they'll keep an eye on the interest rate. Like that's why you have to like keep an eye on different things when you're actually taking on risk.
In that case, yeah. In that case, with that kind of high of an interest rate,
yeah,
you kind of you use your dividends to kind of offset some of that.
Yeah.
So you're essentially still gonna be losing dividends per versus interest rate, but you're hoping for more like the stock price to go up, so you have market capitalization.
Yeah, and also
then
if it's like
money off of that.
Yeah, and if it's a margin loan, more likely you won't have to pay the principal right away. So the thing of it is that you don't know, like the market can go down, but at the same time the market could also go up. And when it goes up much longer than when it goes down.
Well, they do it. It goes down like an elevator, and it goes up like the stairs.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
That's the best analogy.
That's the best analogy, yeah. Because I think the longest we had like a down market was like, I think like how long? Well, like 5 years.
Oh, let me look.
Because I don't remember how long.
You can look it up. You just you just type in like bear markets history.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bear market rate.
Let's see. Let's type in the longest bear market on record.
Probably Great Depression, no?
Yeah, it would be the Great Depression, the longest bear market in history. So, according to
15 months?
So, according to the AI from Google, it basically says like around 2.8 years. That's like the longest bear market.
Ironically, though, what I would say is, you wanna the most ideal is to be putting money during a bear market.
Yeah, because you buy like basically when like, because usually like bear markets, like people panic about them because like they have stuff invested already, but at the same time, like that's usually the like people that are in the middle class. But when it's like rich people, they're like, oh, this is a good day to get a sale. They basically
have the money.
They have the money and they can put it in. So it's
the
like
problem is
Yeah.
like if you have a bear market or a recession, because they usually are hand in hand,
Yeah, they can be.
regular
Yeah.
people are getting laid off, so you have zero money.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also a possibility.
Um,
Yeah.
Another thing is you really don't want to be timing the market, like who
Yeah.
knows, unless
No.
you're like
Yeah.
Warren
Never
Buffett.
time the market. If you're working like dollar cost average.
So what I'm saying is like you don't wait for a bear market.
Oh yeah.
Just
Don't.
invest now.
Yeah.
and
Just invest.
average
Yeah.
it.
But mainly the rule of thumb is invest what you can afford to lose. That's basically the number one rule.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of my perspective. The perspective is like when you invest, you take the money out of your mind. It's as
Yeah.
if you like bought something.
Yeah.
Like it's not there. You assume
Yeah.
it's not there anymore, and you ask yourself a question. Okay, say I threw this as if I'm gambling, or as if like I gave this money away. Will I still be able to live properly? Am I going to be affected by this?
Right.
And hopefully the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
if it is affecting you, then that means it may not be for you, emotionally not be for you. Because
Right.
if you want to be investing, you really don't want to be emotionally invested in it. You
Yeah.
kind of want to like approach it
Yeah.
slow and steady and more logical.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll panic, right? Like you get
Yeah.
like one drop and you're selling everything. And blah, blah, blah.
Also, like there's this book called The Intelligent Investor. It's one of Warren Buffett's favorite books. They differentiate, like in the book, they differentiate between a speculator and an investor. And the thing of it is that if you really love a company, you're an investor and you invest in it because you want the success of the company. The only time you would sell it is if you don't like the new management.
You don't believe in it anymore.
You don't believe in it anymore. But most people, they want to be speculators. They think they're being investors by being speculators. It's like, oh, Nvidia's going up. I'm going to buy it when it's low. And like when I buy it when it's low and it makes them a lot of money, I'm going to sell it. But usually Warren Buffett's approach is usually like you buy it to hold it for the long term because you know that company's valuable.
I like to say the story. When I was in high school, right? I was addicted to World of Warcraft, and like you buy like pre-built PC. At least I did back in the day.
Yeah.
Like the Alienwares back in the day, or like any computer from Dell.
Yeah.
If you look at the graphics card they use, you only have two options. Two.
Uh-huh.
It's literally AMD or Nvidia. Those are the only two graphics card options. And this
Yeah.
was back in 2008-ish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It traced the price history for both.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't matter what you invest in, you make money. You
Yeah.
invested in 2008 in either AMD or Nvidia, you make
Yeah.
crazy multiples. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn.
That's funny. Yeah, and I
Those
think
comics,
like who else is now making graphics cards now? Because I think now there's gonna be a big graphics card market now. Because I think
Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's still dominating the market.
yeah, Nvidia's still dominating, but I forgot which other companies there are. Because like I remember like when I went on YouTube once, I saw different graphics cards from different companies, and I was like, wait, what? And then I saw like different ones, and I'm like, I think there was one from like Intel. I think they made their own graphics card. I think. I completely forgot. Like there was like different companies that I didn't think would make graphics cards, and they did it, and I was like, wait, what?
When
That's
is your
crazy.
ad? It doesn't have a timestamp. When's your ad break done? Is it done?
Yeah, it's already done.
Okay. I just see the chat. It says 90-second ad break. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh no, like that's Siri bot. So basically, Siri
yeah.
bot basically warns me when an ad break is gonna happen. It's just that chat is like basically just like like we just like they're probably like lurking and stuff, but they're probably listening to us in the background.
No,
So if
I
you-
hear you. I just was
Yeah.
like, sure.
So if we're
We're not
background
talking
noise, if we're
over,
background noise for you guys, thanks for chilling with us. We appreciate it because I know like not everybody can be active in chat. So
Yeah, there was a lot of like investment that in hindsight you
Yeah.
could have made. Like Netflix is
Yeah.
one.
But you also have to do the research on the company and also like know what they stand for, right? Because
True.
like if you want to earn like a lot of money from an investment, you have to be at the beginning where like the company's actually starting out.
Right. But that's what I was saying though. Like there are some. I don't know. Maybe it's just hindsight bias, but who knows? Because like
Mhm.
again, like just looking back, felt like there was a lot of like free investments out there that ended up being really good, right? Like
Yeah.
potential if we had like put money in Netflix or Nvidia or AMD or Chipotle maybe, when you notice that Chipotle is like spreading all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing of it is that a lot of people feel like they're too late when it came to, like, Bitcoin and stuff. Because they say the price and they're like, yeah, the price is too high. I can't
No, you know
afford
what's
it.
crazy? It's like back in the day, right? So like
Yeah.
when Bitcoin started getting news,
Yeah.
it went from like say $2 to like
Yeah.
it peaked in like $80, right?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my god, it peaked so high. I'm not gonna buy it anymore because it's not. What is this thing?
Yeah.
It's crazy to see how much it went from that peak of $80 to where it's at now. Like
Yeah, like over
900?
100,000. Over 100,000.
Out. Oh, 100,000 even. Yeah.
But it took like what, like since 2009, like
Right.
2009 minus 2025.
Yeah. You need time for it to really.
Yeah.
Like
That that's like around like 16 years. Practically.
That is nuts.
It's
But
nuts.
yeah, but back then it was like $2.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy to think.
Yeah, it is crazy to think. But at the
Now
same
it kind of feels terrible now to like invest in like a mature, what I would consider a mature. Well, you never really know if it's mature.
Yeah,
like,
that's
price.
also true. Yeah, because it also is still volatile. So like if you're not used to like 30% downturns, like people basically get out of it because it's like, oh no, it's finally gonna go to zero. But then like suddenly like it doesn't go to zero and then it goes back up and it goes higher. And you're like, oh dang it, I should have held on.
That's kind of the thing with like other stocks in general. Like
Yeah, exactly.
like what would I perceive as say mature, quote unquote mature, meaning like it kind of hit like its threshold. I remember having we had like a prediction with me and my ex, right? My
Right.
ex was like, Apple's gonna like double, like because it was like 1 trillion. They hit.
Yeah.
Apple was like the first company to hit 1 trillion, and she was like, I bet you it's gonna go double like 2 trillion. I'm like, no, what? That's crazy. That's a lot of money. Blah blah blah. We just hit 1 trillion record, and then I believe it easily broke $2 trillion. I thought Apple was already mature and it's still making money. Same deal with like Amazon. Like is Amazon like fully matured by now, or is it still gonna go up?
I think the thing of it is that I think you like I'm not saying this to like to diss you or anything, but I think you had a sort of a bias where it's like, what is maturity, right? And I think it's similar to basically saying that, oh, I'm working an office job, so I have a stable job.
Oh no! I meant mature as not like stable or anything.
No. What I'm saying is that that's the same simile. It's basically like, what is a mature company? A mature company is basically considered quote unquote stable, but at the same time, it really is not. It really is not.
I meant it more not that stable, because Amazon, I believe, has always been stable. It's more like, has it hit its kind of like peak, like its ceiling, right? Is it gonna? I might like if I put money now in Amazon, am I gonna make money 10 years from now? That kind of thing. Because I imagine if it's a mature company, then I'm thinking, oh, I'm not gonna make as much money.
Yeah.
Like I would say Coke is a mature company. Like the stock price for Coke barely goes up over time.
Yeah.
Although you do get a lot of dividends from Coke though. So that's
if you buy more dividends. Like I think the thing of it is that when you put money in companies that already have quote unquote established themselves, you're not expecting the high volatility, which is what
like AT&T, for example, right?
Yeah.
That's a mature company.
That's why rich people put their money in stocks, especially certain stocks that have proven themselves. And like when like bad news comes out about that stock, it goes down, and then they buy more because they know it's just gonna be like
go up.
It's just gonna basically either go up or it's gonna stabilize itself because the company has done a good job of actually maintaining those like downturns. So so that's why like like many rich people get into stocks like that because it's like, oh okay, they already proven themselves. As long as I put my money in there, they know how to take care of my money because they know how to do quote unquote business in their way.
My two biggest success, obviously this is all hindsight, right?
Yeah.
My two biggest success, it was during COVID.
Yeah.
I invested a lot in HP because I figured, it was gonna be like a work from home economy,
Mm-hmm.
and people are gonna be buying printers and buying all this stuff. And I was right. HP did go up a lot. So I made money from HP.
Yeah, you basically
Second,
looked at what's
kind of
going
like
on.
an economic trend, right? The
Yeah,
second one is Texas Roadhouse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that chain. I see it. I see them
I hear it. Yeah.
expanding, and they're so good. Like on a personal consumption basis, like
Yeah.
I really only go to two steakhouses, like Texas Roadhouse and like Longhorn, because they're always good quality and pretty cheap. And I always see them packed.
I haven't been to any of them actually.
And just like seeing it like that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna, invest in this company. And yeah, they did well.
So what is it about that company that you like? That you think they're doing well at?
First of all, it's like packed all the time. Was it a Friday night or a Saturday night where it was an hour and a half wait list.
Oh, wow.
Hour and a half. I'm
Wow.
like, this is crazy. Like, it's so packed. And seeing what they offer in terms of price, in terms of quality, compared to all the other sit downs,
Right.
like, why would I ever go say, I don't know, Applebee's or Red Lobster or even Olive Garden? Why would I go there when I go to Texas Roadhouse for the same price?
Right. I see.
Yeah, and so it's just based on what I see around me in my community, like the fact that people are frequenting the restaurants. So I just made kind of like that basic observation, and I also thought that, well, they are at the beginning phase of their expansion. They are not what I would consider "quote unquote" a mature company, right? Because I would think like Subway is a mature company, right? Like they saturated the whole entire nation already. But Texas Roadhouse, if I look at you look at the locations nationwide for Texas Roadhouse, they have plenty of expansion. Like they're only covering mostly Midwest right now, and they could easily expand to the coasts.
Right. I mean, it's good that you develop your hindsight like that, because for me, I don't think I've developed like my hindsight to actually see that much. I think for me, it's I'm not trying to be selective of different stocks per se, but at the same time, I think I judge it based on what I kind of hear, what is that access to me, because for when it comes to crypto and that stuff, I hear this hype sometimes, and I'm like, what am I filtering out? I mean, MicroStrategy has done very well, but at the same time, it's very risky because they're putting all their money and resources into a risky asset.
I do think that even Warren Buffett said the advice that if you are going to pick individual stocks, that you want to pick ones that you are familiar with,
Yeah.
You support. For example, if BB was public, I would probably dump stock with that. It's a chain. They offer they're like a Chipotle, but it's like Asian style, like bibimbap style.
Yeah.
And I love that place so much, and I think they do well.
I can
But they're
go for some
private.
bibimbap. I can go for
Right,
some bibimbap,
but they're private though, so I'm like, okay. But
no,
like,
that's fair. That's fair.
That's kind of like the thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily the industries that I don't know about. I invest in ones that I can see.
Yeah, actually before Elon Musk got into politics, right? There was a part of me that wanted to invest in SpaceX, and I was
wait, I thought SpaceX is public though. Private though, no?
Yeah, it's private, and I was just trying to look it up, and I was like, oh, it's private. That's why I can't invest in it. But you can invest in Tesla, and I think I did. And I think I invested in Tesla, when I was working. But then I think when it went up, I traded it for something else. So
Okay. I mean, you made money. It doesn't matter whether you don't regret it. You made money.
Yeah, I don't regret it. And Tesla is still pretty good because I like their mission, because it's make electric cars.
Yeah, I had a cousin that invested in Tesla early.
Oh, dang.
I'm thinking a decade ago or something. He probably made a lot of money from that.
No, because it's funny because sometimes my dad would ask me basically Peter, what do you think of me investing into this or that? He doesn't do it, but he just asked me a what if thing, and I basically he asked me about SpaceX, and I'm like, yeah, that's a private company. You won't be able to invest in that. Like, and you know, like sometimes, like I think for him, he's like wondering, like, should I put my money into certain stocks or something? Because knowing him, like he would probably invest into things like Tesla and stuff, even though he doesn't like Tesla cars or electric cars whatsoever. So, you know, I think it depends on like, you know, whatever it is that, because like, I think like my dad's like investments is like stuff that he likes, but at the same time, it's like, I think it's something that he thinks that it'll just earn him more money, but not really caring about the company that much. Because he feels like the company has already proven itself with the leadership that he would probably respect, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think it depends on, like, whatever it is that you really think the world is going to end up. Because I do want a world where we do have AI, and AI makes our lives easier. So that we can focus on the real important things, like what is it that we want to give our life purpose. And like instead of worrying about, oh, I have to basically work hard to earn money to survive, I want to work hard so I can actually be a better person. Now, of course, people might think, oh, that's unrealistic because we need money to actually get resources. But at the same time, like, I think that's what kind of made people not like the system that we have. Because people are questioning on what money is. Because if money is just something that the Federal Reserve can print to basically just deflate your savings, like, inflate your savings, like, over years, then people are starting to question what's the value of that money actually. They're actually like working for something that people would not like to say it's worthless, you know? So this is why I think a lot of people are getting into like other forms of investments like gold and silver, and of course like I said, crypto. It's like they feel as if, oh, this is money that's not tapped into any fiat system, because like our fiat system is actually run through debt. The more debt we get, the more possibility we can get rich off of it. But we pushed it too much, and now we're so much in debt that we can't even get rich off the debt.
Oh yeah, I mean, I looked it up before. The federal net interest that we pay is insane. I don't know if you guys know it. It's more than 10%. The federal government, that is. Like
we're just paying the.
This is just interest, right? It is more than the budget for the defense, and it's more than like Medicaid. Not Medicare, but Medicaid. It's like, this is an insane amount of debt. What the heck? How did like fester so bad like that?
Yeah, and also the thing of it is that like it's funny because like Japan owns a majority of the debt, and China's second. So if we fall, then their investment falls, which is very ironic because we're actually being mean to our second biggest investor.
But it's funny. It's interesting that you can think of it then as like money coming out of the U.S. system if like, going to those countries.
Yeah, and if we default on that debt, which we can do, but it's probably not likely because
I just don't get why. This is just me being a young person, right?
Yeah.
Because I obviously don't have, from a selfish perspective, think of it this way, right?
Yeah.
Like, the common politics nowadays, they do not want to touch Social Security and Medicaid, right? Because older people, it's a social safety net.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're not going to balance the budget and you're going to keep borrowing money, you're just screwing the future people. Like, when we are about to retire, or maybe even the generation after us, they're gonna, if you don't do anything about the debt because you don't want to touch Social Security, well, we are not gonna have Social Security,
right?
Like, or they're gonna raise the retirement age,
right?
So it's like, come on, it's like I feel like the current, the previous and the current like generation is essentially has screwed the future ones.
Pretty much, and I think like some boomers and some X-gens realize that. So like.
Yeah, they like partied and they want to keep the party going.
Yeah.
And until they're no longer in this world, and then like the consequences is passed on to us and the future.
Yeah, like again, guys, we're not saying this to make it seem depressing or whatever.
No,
it's just it's just basically like what I think a lot of our generations are like feeling, millennials, and like if you're someone older that's X-gen or like a boomer and stuff, like like we're not blaming you. We're just basically blaming the people in power during those times. And
it's not like I'm being like virtuous and saying that like it is us, but it is very, very possible that when we became the power in the country, meaning we're now the highest voting bloc, Most of the people in power are now millennials. It's very possible that we keep the party going for us.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, we're not gonna touch Social Security. We're gonna
Mhm.
keep being in debt,
Yeah.
and Gen Alpha don't get to retire. Like
or
it's
or
like
like like you never know what's gonna happen because like I know this is being idealistic and probably this is less pessimistic for me,
Mhm.
but since millennials were the first, well, not the first ones, but since we're the ones that kind of got the impact of what boomers and X gens thought that we were doing wrong things, like you're not saving your money to the right priorities, you're not getting a house, you're not starting a family and stuff. I think for our generation, if we're honest with ourselves, like, we're not going to put the same pain that we went through upon other generations. But we're going to have to work the hardest out of
that's
all of them.
hope. I
Yeah.
hope, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of hope that our generation will be empathetic and use that empathy as compassion to basically say, hey, you guys got screwed by, like, the generations before us, and those were your great-great-grandparents, so, we're going to try to fix their mistake. And I'm pretty sure there's some boomers and X-gens that are willing to do that, too. It's like, we screwed you guys over. Like, it's our fault. We're gonna work hard to make sure that you guys don't go through the same thing that probably, like, your parents went through. Because, like, any parent would want that for their kid. And, like, I'm pretty sure that we'll be able to, like, get together and actually have major priorities, like saving Social Security, or maybe finding a way to make it more sustainable, or maybe more technologically advanced so we don't have to worry about losing it, because there's always going to be stuff going in the system.
Yeah, hopefully that's a pessimistic, definitely. Oh, the optimistic way of looking
Yeah.
at things. I'm more cynical, so
No, I
just-
get that. I get that. Because, like, like, for
screwed.
me, like, the reason why I liked cryptocurrency so much, like, is because it actually brings out technology to actually make money more useful. Because I think the reason why money is so flawed is because rich people hoard it. And the thing of it is that, is there a way for you to hoard it without taking their wealth away from them? And I think with cryptocurrency, it's a possible way, because the reason why people hoard their money is because it's in banks, right? And the banks
Okay.
have a lot of security. But there is such thing in cryptocurrency, like, since it's not in a bank, it's in something called the blockchain, which is sort of like, if you think of it like a blood system, right? Your blood is always pumping through the veins, right? But the thing of it is that how does the bank maintain its balance sheet, or, like, able to make more money? They're able to do that by keeping the circulation of money going, but it has to stop at the bank. It doesn't stop at the person who basically owns the bank account. You get what I'm saying? But there's some...
kind of. I'm just kind of thinking of, like, the idea that, like, the rich are hoarding money. The only thing is, like, what if we switch to, say, like, the crypto? Aren't the rich still gonna hoard money? Like, what would cause them to not hoard money?
So here,
I mean, they're just gonna hoard cryptocurrency in this case.
no. Here's the thing, right? So, like, yeah, there are certain cryptocurrencies, like, you have to basically lock up and not make it go through the system. I get that. Like, that's basically like Bitcoin and stuff. But there are cryptocurrencies that are more useful. Sometimes you don't have to hoard it. So imagine, instead of the bank owning your money, right? You are your own bank. So you control the vault. So what does that allow you to do? If you were your own bank, and let's say everyone is their own bank, you can loan out your money to someone else. And since it's digital, you can practically use it as your own bloodline. So basically, think of the money in your bank account as sort of the blood you're donating to the heart of the system. Because your blood has to constantly pump through your head, like through your body, and it goes to your brain, and then your brain basically circulates all the functions of your body. That's the reason why stuff happens in an economy, because we practically have blood clots in the money system, and we have to find ways to get those blood clots unclogged, but without ruining the system we have.
Yeah, I just wonder if, like, okay, the rich people are hoarding. Why are they hoarding right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's more that it's not. I mean, how much more can they consume, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not really any choice for Warren Buffett, for example,
Yeah.
other than to hoard money, because
So this is
they
getting
don't deal with it.
So this is getting, like, technical, but there's something in cryptocurrency called staking. So what staking is that you put your money on the blockchain, so it circulates through the system, but you get interest on where that money goes. So, like, you know how the bank basically basically gives out loans and you get interest?
Mm-hmm.
They get interest from you. You become the bank, since you stake your money in the blockchain, which is basically a non-corporate entity. You basically are earning interest on the money you staked. So in other words, if it's there, staked, anyone could use it for a loan, anyone could use it for trading.
You're like
so you're constantly basically creating a blood flow without having to cut it at its source. You're basically not creating blood clots at that point, because if people stake their money, they're earning money on top of that, which is why they're becoming their own bank at that point.
Okay.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying that this will solve the problem, but I'm thinking this is a better alternative than saying, oh, we should have the old system we have because the power is in the banks to make sure that we don't have blood clots. But the rich basically have to have blood clots because in case of emergencies, because they're also human. They want to make sure that they have enough money for either more investments, paying their employees, and, you know, like, all the other stuff they need their wealth for. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
So, like, that's why I feel like, you know, that's why people are appealed to crypto, because it's like, if you stake your money, you're earning money passively without having to work as much, but your money's still working for you, and you're actually becoming your own bank, quote unquote, technically.
How's the because I know we may have like some real world implementations now, because I believe El Salvador, for example, has adopted Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, but
I wonder like how does it work in the implementation there?
Well, actually, like, people that were Bitcoin enthusiasts went down there. I think because of the what is it? I think it was the Central Bank of Europe or something. They didn't want them to implement Bitcoin, so El Salvador had to lighten the I guess, like, the legal tender language in the law. So not everybody is meant to adopt Bitcoin. So they're still kind of like lacking when it comes to Bitcoin adoption.
I see. Even though, you know,
even though they have Bitcoin as legal tender, it's not a priority for every business to take Bitcoin. But of course, like, transaction on Bitcoin is pretty slow because it takes like 10 minutes for a whole transaction. So,
it does?
Yeah, it takes 10 minutes to verify a transaction on Bitcoin. That's why I think Bitcoin is not great for, like, buying a coffee. It's usually good for, like, big transactions, like if you're giving a Bitcoin for a house, for a car or a house. Because, like, you know, like, 10 minutes is like you're just waiting for, like, the paperwork to get done for the dealership or the paperwork for the house, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, some people say it's a good thing because, like, obviously, like, miners, they basically take 10 minutes to verify the transaction. But if you want quick transactions, that's why there's, like, different cryptocurrencies, because they're trying to fix that problem. Because they're trying, so they make sure it goes faster. Like, people thought Ethereum was going to be that coin, but the gas fees are just too high. Because you have to pay the blockchain, like, practically, like, if you buy something that's $100, probably the gas fee would go up to, like, at least probably $30 to $50. So you technically pay like $150 for just something that was $100. So that's why there's, like, different other cryptocurrencies like Solana and all that stuff. And, like, you know, they work pretty well. And, you know, like, I don't know which blockchain is going to be the best one, but, you know, that's what everyone's investing into. It's like, which one will be the one thing that we use digitally?
Can I do a hard pivot? We're approaching kind of like the time.
Yeah.
I do want to touch like new animes, or like animes in general. Do you have any updates or anything you would recommend?
Honestly, I was watching an old school anime just a few moments ago.
Old school? Which one?
It was called, I think it's called Black Brother Blood. It's like really old. It was really old. Like, I was watching it on Crunchyroll because, like, it looked like something that I would have watched in high school.
2006.
Yeah, it's like 2006, and I was like, oh, this is old. And it was funny, it was on Crunchyroll because it said the debut date was, like, I think 2017. I'm like, this is not 2017. I can tell by the animation style. This is, like, early 2000s. Don't try to fool me, Crunchyroll.
Set in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I've never seen this. Heard of this anime.
I think it's one of those old school animes that you watch when when it seems interesting, and then you instantly forget it as soon as you finish
Yeah,
watching it.
I could tell that the art style is like back in the age of like Full Metal Alchemist. And
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
yeah.
It has a similar art style.
Right. Yeah.
Great,
But
man.
I would have to say the anime that I'm interested right now is I think it's called A Country Bumpkin to Sword Master.
Country Bumpkin to
I don't know if that's the title, but it's something along those lines.
Master Swordsman.
Master Swordsman, yeah. So it's basically about a 40-year-old, or maybe like 40-something, sword master. He basically is an owner of a dojo, and apparently one of his former students comes to his home and basically says, "I would like you to train the knights," and because she's like the captain of the Knights Guard.
Okay.
So he basically takes on a job to basically be the sword master for the knights of the kingdom.
Ooh.
So the funny thing is that when he goes to the capital of the kingdom, he happens to be other students that he helped. So it's funny because like I'm like, oh, I love this guy because he's so humble. Like
he's like a Rurouni Kenshin, but he's like a teacher.
he's literally a he's like literally Kenshin Himura, but more buff, and he's more buff, and he's very, very humble, and he can see that everyone is faster and younger than him, but he still has the thing that I like about the series is that his experience is the thing that lets him beat them. But he doesn't beat them like, oh, I'm going to hit you in one strike. He beats them as if he actually has been challenged. So that's what I like about the series, because it actually shows that no matter how old you get, even though you're not as strong, if you have a lot of experience and you can see that, you're able to like get through the battle like by the nick of your teeth. And I'm like, this is a good anime because I really look up to this character, because that's the type of character I want to be when I'm like 40 years old.
Oh, it's not in Crunchy, is it?
No, it's not on Crunchy, but I can send you a website where you can watch it. It's really good. I actually love that anime. It's really good. Oh, actually, if you have Amazon Prime, it's also on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't have Crunchyroll. I don't have Netflix anymore.
I'm just basically saying that's the legal ways of watching it.
Yeah.
But I can send you a website to like see other anime.
I used to have Funimation too, but I believe Funimation has been merged with Crunchyroll, right?
Yes. Like actually, I think that anime I just mentioned to you, Black Brother Blood. I think that was from Funimation, and then they moved it to Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll, that makes sense.
Okay, I think it's around 10. So shall we call it Rainier?
Yep, you can call it here.
All right. So first, I want to thank Rainier for joining us. Again, apologies that we started the main podcast late, but thank you guys for joining us in the chat.
Yeah, and I got interrupted by a phone call too, so sorry.
No, it's okay. Basically, it's life, and it got me to interact with chat more. So if you had to take a call, you had to take a call. So
yeah, and I unfortunately didn't get to prepare for this podcast. Usually, I probably would.
I think we talked about a lot. I think we talked about a lot, though. We talked about money a lot, though. So we actually got into the real, I guess, adult thing.
Meat
adult
and
themes.
bones.
Yeah, the meat and bones.
I mean, it's kind of like a recurring theme, and I like it as a recurring theme because it's it's always good to talk about money and life and work and where you are at life.
We love to be otakus, guys, but at the same time, oh my gosh,
we want to get people to think about their own lives, their money situation.
Because I know a lot of the otakus that I grew up with and I've come to appreciate, they're already their 20-somethings or 30-somethings, and I know they're thinking about the quote-unquote, I hate this word, adulting. They're thinking about finances stuff. It's how can I be a successful otaku, And I think the only way you can be successful as an otaku is just keep doing what you're doing. Learn more about the stuff that we thought were boring, finances and stuff. And also just keep being curious about stuff. It doesn't even have to involve finances. If you have a skill and you really, really love something and putting your effort into that one thing, you will find a community that finds value in that. And whether that community be your customers or whether it be people that can help you get to the place where people make money off of the thing that you really, really love. Whether it be anime or something else, Yeah, like, you know, you can basically volunteer for for conventions and stuff, and you
Oh
know.
yeah, that's something I've considered. Although I'm just gonna be a convention goer. I'm actually going to ASEN,
Oh,
which is a
nice.
convention in Chicago. If any one of you guys are going.
Yeah, I'm going to
Um,
Anime NYC during the
yeah.
summer. Yeah, so like hopefully I'm planning to meet one of my online friends there as well. So
But
that's
yeah,
gonna be fun.
I understand though. I am kind of like in that like age where like maybe I will just rather volunteer at a convention rather than be the convention goer.
Yeah, because this was something that Robert Kiyosaki said. I think he said it in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad. The
Mhm.
the poor work for money, the middle class work for money, and I'm just paraphrasing, but the rich work to learn. And I actually
Mhm.
think that quote is really true. So, like, you know, like, even though you may think, oh, I'm learning this stuff, but I'm not earning money off of it, you never know. It could help someone that actually has the power to give you the money that can actually support the interest that you have in the thing, you know?
Yep.
Because you can't predict life, and if you're pessimistic about life, you miss those opportunities. You don't keep your eyes open to that. Like, it's just good to keep empowering yourself, and I think the more you empower yourself in whatever skills you think are important to you, someone will find that, and I think someone will actually appreciate you for what you have to offer, and will give you the right sum that you deserve for that. Even if it's infinite. That's the optimist in me, and I think that's something we all have to live by. Because, like, you don't want to live a life where it's like, oh, I'm being realistic, but I know I'm going to go into the gutter just being realistic and pessimistic. You're not protecting yourself, bro. You're not protecting yourself. That's basically what I'm saying. Don't protect yourself thinking you're being realistic or pessimistic. Because I was like that, and I don't think it leads nowhere. It just leaves you feeling more depressed and probably getting, like, ulcers.
Yeah.
Reindeer, do you have anything to say to our global audience before we depart?
No, just stay healthy, stay safe. You know, it's a good time to assess your financial situation, look at your budget, look at your spending, rein some of that spending, and maybe
Yeah.
think about like investing or something like that. You know, even if it's like a broad, safe, you know, ETF or an index fund or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Not
or
investment advice.
even
It's not investment advice. It's just basically something
buy,
that, like, you know,
or
we have
even
done.
buy a house or condo where you build equity or something like that.
If you can afford it and if you have the risk tolerance for it.
Yeah.
Just to keep that in mind. But well, Rainer has said his piece, so I will say mine. But before that, I will basically give my YouTube channel a shout out if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In addition, if you want to join us on our Discord server, you can join our Discord server. And Tons, thanks for the resub. No, it's okay. We were just about to end it. Thanks for actually catching up in the last moments. But yeah, so if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, you also want to join our Discord server, you're more than happy to do so. And if you guys like math or physics, I know, like, you know, that's a small majority of you. If you want to see my progress on my mathematical journey, you can also follow my math spellbook channel. So if you want to just be my cheerleaders in my mathematical journey, you're more than happy to follow that. But yeah, so Rainer said his piece, so I will say mine. Everyone is precious. You guys are just as precious as everyone else, and we will see you guys probably. So Rainer and me will rejoin for the next second Monday of next month. But I will definitely see you guys in next stream. So take care, guys. Bye bye.
Peace.